My check, my check. 1 2 1 2. My check, my check. 1 2 1 2. Look, squad, we got some shit today, right? And I wasn't gonna make a video about this, but I had to. I just had to make a video about this, guys. And in this timeline that we are in at the moment, right? I feel like human beings have collectively lost the way to critical think. Humans have lost all capability of critical thinking, right? And it's crazy, guys. It's dawning to me that nobody knows how to adapt. Nobody knows how to think of something deeper than it is and over to overcome something. It's just things are wild now. But I just wanted to make a video to touch some base on some buffoonery, right? So, all right, let me ask y'all a question, right? To my collective, to anybody outside of my collective watching a video. If you can afford something, right? Say you're going out and you can't afford something and you've already checked the price out and everything, right? What makes you in your right mind go to that facility or, wherever they're selling that product and complain about the price while you're there when you already know the price, right? In a situation like this, you would just not buy the item, right? But in this cases, a lot of people are blatantly complaining to you in your face about it while still buying the item. Now, I don't know what the fuck is going on in the world and I don't know how many people are off their gourd, right? But in a situation like that, you know, look, if you can't afford something, then why are you buying it in the first place, right? That's kind of like the whole thing of the video. And when I posted the video, it was basically like, look, if you're at somewhere, buying something, why complain about the price? Because then you can just not buy it. You can save up for it, maybe actually can afford it later, or maybe go with a different brand or so on and so forth, or just something, right? Yo, the comments were wild on this one, right? And I decided just to share with you guys the comments today and basically, what happened and how people feel about this certain situation. And it proves to me that people lost the ability to critical think because survival, right? Say okay, point blank, me and my wife, we shop some places sometimes, right? And sometimes we get brands that we don't even want to get. But you know what? We do that shit anyways because that's what we're doing. We're adapting to the economy. We're making it work for us. But, you know, if we, you know, decide to go out somewhere, but, we realize that we can't afford it, we stay home or we cook dinner here or we do something like that, right? But there's people that aren't like that. And I know not everybody, can be critical thinkers or, can adapt collectively. I understand that. It's just you're making it a lot harder for other people on the other end just trying to sell you the shit. Example, I had someone come into my job, right? Okay, it's very, very hard to find food under $15 nowadays, guys. That's just real, right? It's very, very hard. So the customer came in, started ordering everything, and then I gave them the price of, the pizza, and they were just like, "Oh, I can't pay for that." And I was like, "Well, how much do you have to work with?" And they told me, the money they had to work with, and I was like, "Oh, I mean, you can get something, but it's just not gonna be what you want." But if you want to go eat somewhere and you don't have the money for it, right? And you have to settle for something that you don't want and you're unhappy with that, then why did you go out to eat in the first place? You could have just saved your money, maybe made a sandwich at home and, went out to a better place another time. It's just common sense, right? And it's okay, not even so much of critical thinking, but I feel like a lot of everybody lost the ability of common sense. And that's just, that shit blows my fucking brain. Blows my balls too, shit. But it just okay, I'm getting a little bit of fucking ahead of myself here, guys. Let's read some of these comments, right? Because we need to break some of this down now. For, the other party's privacy and what have you, I'm gonna go ahead and, scribble out the names and what have you. I always leave the profile pictures anyways, because some of them are janky as shit. But I'm gonna go ahead and read some of these comments, right? Shit, your boy got a little shy, so I had to do another take real quick. like I said, we're scribbling out the names for privacy, right? So no one harasses these people or, gives them any trouble. But all right, this user said, yes, groceries are expensive, but by me buying lunch meat, bread, mayo, and a box of variety chips for like 70, I save myself at least 20 a day eating out. That's like 70 the last 2 weeks. Yo, see, that's smart right there. You know what I mean? Dude bought himself a loaf of bread, bought himself some sandwich meats, and a pack of chips. Saving himself $20 a week. That's smart right there. To be honest with you, I don't really buy work lunch. I just eat lunch at work. Hey, look, I get the privilege to do that. And for the last 5 years, it gets a little tiring, but hey, you do what you got to do. And that shit right there, let me tell you, that works. So, but okay, so my comment to that user was, that's the point. I work in food and I hear this so much. And if they use that money to get some real food, they would be able to make it stretch, right? And that's kind of like where we're at as a collective, guys. If we could just use our brains instead of going out, okay, going out is a luxury, but that's where we all fucked up because we've made going out the norm. Going out was never the norm, guys. Going out was the luxury. Going out was when you had it like that. You know what I mean? But even I find myself doing this sometimes and I have to stop this shit because of my impulses. But, like I find myself going out sometimes, more than usual. And I'm just like, oh shit, like this is actually, and you're not really even thinking about it. You know what I mean? So that's what it was, guys. Going out became the norm when it was really a luxury. And I find myself in that whole little cycle sometimes, let me tell you. Okay, so all right, user commented back, right? And said, it's not the fault they weren't taught true food, or at least the fastest, cheapest option, which means that they weren't taught how to cook, but they were taught how to go to McDonald's to go buy some fucking McDoubles and shit. And you know what makes it hard? It's because the economy we're in, right? And the way that everything is ran. We all don't have time for fucking anything anymore. So of course you're gonna want to go pick up that $5 cheeseburger. You know what I'm saying? Crazy work, guys. Or shit, however cheeseburgers cost in your city. I think Big Macs over here are like fucking $8 for the damn sandwich. All right, so this user said, right? I get this to a certain degree. And I get this to a certain degree too, because, maybe I was being a little harsh in the video because I was like, well, if you guys can't afford to go out to eat, then just sit your broke ass at home type deal. You know what I mean? But uh, 1 second. But it was more or less like being frustrated because I deal with customers every day, all day that just are just complaining like that, right? Or when I go to the dispensary to go shop, there's just people that are like, this is too expensive. Well, then shop for the fucking deals, bitch. I don't know what to fucking tell you. Back to the comments, right, guys? Alrighty. So another user said true, right? Another user said, that's me, man. I stopped buying. Ain't no way I'm paying that. I have money and I stopped. And that's smart because once you actually stop going out or like once you actually start figuring a couple things out, you do have a little bit more bread to spend or on some shoes or put in your savings or maybe you have an investment account, right? So it's very, very good, guys, it's very good to recognize where to stop it. And to be honest with you, you'll see the difference between even like the first 3 times you don't go out. So that's real. Alrighty. So this is where it gets a little fucking spicy, right? Because these users were off their fucking gourd right here. All right, so this user said, because our economy requires us to buy, and when the things we once were able to afford are getting too expensive, we stop buying. Those businesses start to suffer, and it's a whole domino effect. People also complain because maybe I don't want to buy the thing, but I know someone who does. So I don't know what the fuck that means, but basically to me, that sounds like FOMO, a fear of missing out. Kind of like Labubus. All your friends have a Labubu, and so you're pressured to buy one at the store because maybe they're going to run out and you're not going to get that one again. Or buy the thing but know someone that does. Someone else does. Yeah, you guys are reading it for yourself right here. There's more to it, but it was basically just the S on does. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that even meant. All right, so this user, right? This user said, because things we were once okay paying a set price for keep increasing, maybe we shouldn't do anything we like or enjoyed once at cheap prices that keep getting more expensive just because those who create it know we enjoy it. Again, I get what you're saying, but overall, what the fuck are we even talking about? What we're talking about are just people that complain about pricing when they could just they have the choice and the option to get a cheaper, substitution or whatever the case is. But that's what it is, guys. Substitute your things. Okay, let me give you guys a little fucking, you know what I mean? When you guys order online, right? When you guys order from Walmart online, when you guys order from Target online, Uber Eats, DoorDash, whatever the fuck have you, right? When they don't have the item, when you place your online order, they sometimes they let you know, sometimes you just fucking find out that you got fucking cheese you didn't want. But anyways, not cheese you didn't want, but the brand you didn't want, quotations, right? Because they always give you the same kind of product. It's just a different brand. So when they do that, they substitute it for something else, right? I mean, maybe you guys do fucking go and complain about that shit and be like, what the fuck? We didn't order this shit. But for people like me, we just take the substitution. It's still yellow cheese. It's still a gallon of milk. It's still, so on and so forth. It's not that it happens all the time, but it's substitution. It's what we used to do when you go to the fucking macaroni aisle, right? The whole macaroni aisle. When you go to the macaroni aisle, right? And you go to shop for Velveeta noodles and they don't got Velveeta, what do? You get a different macaroni or you just don't get Velveeta. You're gonna go to the edge of the earth to the fucking customer service desk talking about, I know you guys have it in the back. You're not gonna do all that shit. Just fucking take your fucking noodles and go, you know? It's just what it is. Just substitute. It's just, yo, guys, we're becoming way too privileged in the world. Let me tell you, this is just nuts. So, this was the comment that started it all, right? All right, so it says, I think you need to genuinely reevaluate your life interest and what's important yourself. That's what started all of this. That's why I wanted to make this video in the first place, right? That was the first comment that I got before that shit started going bonkers. And I'm not even interested in other people's lives. I don't even check shit out. I don't even pocket watch. I'm good. I'm good over here. I don't pocket watch. But that's the thing. I work in a place in an environment where I'm selling customers things. So I hear it all day, every day. I shop at the dispensary like maybe 2 times a week I go, right? So I see it all the time that people are, you know, making still face and some Thiz face, some Mac Drain shit because of some price on some shit. When me and my wife go, right? So my wife, she doesn't smoke, but when I go to the dispensary, right? I want to spend all my money there and just get all the cool shit. You know what I mean? But I gotta limit myself and I gotta make sure that I'm okay. But that's what she's there for. She makes sure that I don't fucking, I don't get everything that I need, that I want to get, There's a thin line between wants and needs. But yeah, I see it all the time, whether it's at work, whether it's at the dispensary or anything like that. It's just everybody's just somewhere getting mad about something when they could just sit at home, make a sandwich. Shit, you know what we did the other day? We made some ribs. That shit came out fire. Oh, yo. And I don't know if I'm gonna use, like every single segment from these videos, you know what I mean? Or like from these comments and shit like that. I'm gonna, edit some of this stuff out because this was a one take Jake. Because I'm using my wife's phone right now to read all the comments so I can record on my phone. That's a real woman right there. Alrighty, so all right, user said, bro, I work at Jimmy John's and I hear this shit all the time. Oh, that's expensive. Well, then go make a fucking sandwich at home. It's a lot fucking cheaper to make a sandwich at home. And I was like, yo, this couldn't be more accurate. And I butchered that whole comment. I butchered that whole comment. Yeah, okay. That is everything right there, ladies and gentlemen. So let's talk about it. There's a lot to uncover here. There's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to talk about. You guys might roast me in the comments. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't agree. Drop your comments and see, drop your comments and see what the fuck. Drop your comments and let's talk about this. How do you feel about this whole situation? Shh, it's crazy, guys. The world is collectively taking a shit. And it all starts with, us making things the norm when they should have never been. When I tell you, Tento's family, how proud I am of my collective and how proud I am to be here with you guys today. We already reached a 500,000 views on YouTube, guys. Now we're at 530,000, I think. We're getting more subscribers and everything's good. Subscriber count's good and I appreciate the collective and all, but I appreciate everybody who takes their time to watch these videos. I don't know what the title's going to be today, but we'll figure that one out. But yo, Tento's family, I appreciate you guys, in this deep dive with me today. I wasn't going to make this video, but that comment, not that it rubbed me the wrong way, but it just shows that people just assume that you're pocket watching someone else when that's not the case. And for that person who did put that comment, the fuck? Because you can't make assumptions that I'm just like talking shit about people like that. It's just about me hearing it all the time and I'm getting fed up with it. That's all it is. So, anyways, y'all, much love Tento's family. And guys, we're going to be talking about zoocrosis and the topics, like all of that on the next video. So, stay tuned, but on to the next one. Later.